I've come to the London lab to meet our Chief Superintendent Pharmacist, Miriam Martinez Callejas. So Miriam, when we make up our klira formulations, so a patient will go online, complete their consultation, and then the dermatology team review everything. Now, what happens after that is the bit I want to talk about now, because it comes through the superhighway to here, and you pick up the order. Tell me what happens after.
Well, as soon as we can pick up the order, we are going to look into what ingredients that contain, what is the application. It's going to be, in your case, for klira, it's going to be the face. And so we need to choose the ingredients carefully, the strengths that they go into the cream, the base cream, and everything. We create like a formula for that. And once the formula is being created by a specialized formulation pharmacist, that is being sent into the lab. So in the lab, we have technicians that they're really well qualified and well-trained technicians, so they will make the specific preparation according to the doctor's directions, so the klira doctor's directions. And after that, will come out of the lab, and another pharmacist will do another check on the formulation to make sure that everything is correct and it's ready. It's going to be perfect for the patient. So, and after that, we just post it to the patient.
So when it comes down to then things like the formula has been made for the person, so it immediately comes in, you've created the formula. What happens with that formula? Is it a bit like if I was to make a meal and then with time that meal starts to lose its tastiness or its quality? Does the same thing happen with formulas?
It does. I always think, like I always say to people around me, like think about when you have even a body lotion that you open it and it says like 12 months expiry date or after use or things like that. And that's just a body lotion. We are talking about pharmaceutical grade products, and this is a prescription product that is being like formulated just for you. So as soon as we mix the ingredients, it's a countdown, more or less. So we make sure that it's gonna be like in perfect conditions for a certain period of time, but after that, and it starts deteriorating. All the ingredients that start changing a little bit or transform, they lose the potency. So it's not gonna work as effective as it used to like 30 days ago.
Okay.
So that is quite important.
Okay, so a product that was created now and used straight away is going to be delivering really much more effective treatment than something that was made 2 or 3 months ago, even that time.
Even that time. Yes.
Okay. And is that specific for different ingredients? So let's think a little bit about some of the ingredients that we might use, especially the prescriptive ones. Can we talk about the vitamin A?
Exactly. Vitamin A oxidizes like quite quick, and is affected by the light and the humidity and everything. So as soon as we have the active ingredient, then it needs to be pharmaceutical grade ingredient. We are going to have it in the lab, closed and not exposed to light at any time. And as soon as we have a formulation coming through is when you open the pot and you start like counting down. So you need to be quite specific and meticulous of how you are going to mix those ingredients so it gets hardly exposed to the light.
Yeah, and we just thought so long hard about our packaging at Klira because we really wanted it to look beautiful and we wanted it to be as sustainable and recyclable as possible. But what we also wanted to make sure was that it was the right kind of packaging for the medicines that would be going into it. So it's an airless pump, as well as being entirely UV protected. So you guys do your job by making it happen super quickly, getting it into the packaging and then getting it straight to the person. And what about something then that we also use quite a lot of, and people will have heard because you can buy this over the counter, the ingredient azelaic acid. Why can we buy that over the counter, and what is the difference between the azelaic acid that you would maybe use for our prescriptive services?
Yeah, well, as mentioned, I mean, all the ingredients that we used, they are pharmaceutical grade ingredients. As such, that means that they actually...
what does that mean, pharmaceutical grade?
Yes, I know. So that means that all the ingredients, they go through a really strict process of testing. And we have a lot of documentation about that ingredient.
Okay.
Yeah, and when you're talking about cosmetic ingredients, they don't carry that load of documentation around them because it's not required.
Okay, so it's almost like that the azelaic acid that's pharmaceutical grade is more reliable, the information that you have on it, so you can trust that it's going to do what we expect it to do more reliably.
Exactly.
Is that right?
Exactly.
You're the creator of the formulas so that they can work in the most effective way. What are the key things that you would say? I'm guessing it's going to be fresh, the formulation, but what are the key things that you would say that would deliver somebody a reliable, robust formula?
What it would be the stability for the ingredients within the formula. I mean, can you actually combine them with that base? Everything needs to be working in synchrony. You cannot actually use just a random base and say, oh, look, I'm going to chuck just that ingredient and wish for the best. You need to know how your ingredients are going to behave in that base, how they're going to be dispersed, how you're going to mix them properly so you don't alter the ingredients when you're mixing it, which it might happen if you expose them, let's say, to a really high speed or heat, and you kind of denature those ingredients. So it's quite important, the whole thing. It's considering absolutely everything.
And going back in time a few years ago when you and I were sitting down and I was able to say, okay, I would like to have this ingredient and that ingredient and I want these ingredients together. But also, I know the problem that people encounter whenever they're using some of these harsher ingredients, and we have to find a way within the base to add additional treatments that are anti-inflammatory and calming, but still crucially allow the delivery of those key master active ingredients as well. So our mantra was it has to be the right ingredient at the right dose, but it also has to be in the right base to allow it to happen. How hard was that for you to work together all of these wants and needs?
I always liked working with you, Emma. It's always been really challenging, and that's what we are passionate about. Like when you challenge the whole market, and you say, no, but I want something that actually works, that is not aggressive, that penetrates, but exactly, and the skin doesn't get any further damage. So it was quite challenging, I have to say. We've run a few trials until we got until we got the right formulation, and it feels good. And as well, like when people think about treatments, it doesn't need to have that kind of a horrible feeling. I think to increase that compliance and trust, it needs to be something that it works, but you feel comfortable using. And I think we got that.
I mean, we have definitely got that. You know, the feedback that we've now had from our years of our patients being on it, you definitely got that. And you're right, this whole thing about compliance, if people are able to use a product that looks nice, but importantly feels nice, and you can do it in one step, so you've got all of the ingredients that might otherwise be put this on in the morning and that on at night time, but actually everything is all wrapped up together in one thing, well then people do continue to use it. So that was definitely nailed.